Hey guys, I'm Ivy Rising Sun, and welcome to the second ranting video I have ever done, ever, before. Yes. So this next one, as you can see by the title, is on transport, and I have a small list that I've put on a notepad document to help me remember, because my memory is poor at best. Okay, so first on the list is buses/coaches. My school has an addiction with coaches, and everywhere we go, we have to take a coach. It's a business firm called Micro Coaches, and their buses very uncomfortable. The seatbelts are far from safe because they just sort of go over your waist. Never mind your face. It's just sort of a device to help you headbutt the seat in front of you, pretty much. And you always find something on your seat or in the there's a little compartment on the back of the seat in front of you. You always find something in there that you don't want to find. It's horrible. Something on the floor, maybe it's just sticky for no apparent reason. So yeah, I don't really like coaches and buses. They slow, cold, and the people on there are strange. They just to remember a phrase that I've heard someone say, you get stuck between a window and a weirdo, which is fair enough. Next one, trains. Now, I don't have good experiences with trains. Every train that I've been on, well, not everyone, but most of them I've been on, I've ended up standing up. The company that does most of the trains in Britain, if you didn't know already, is Virgin Trains. Their trains are fast, but usually late and horribly crowded almost all the time. Because there's only like 5 to 7 carriages on one of those trains. And that's not enough. That's nowhere near enough. But they're cheapskates, so they're going to keep it like that. You pay for a ticket and you stood up the whole way. I mean, what's the point? So yeah, I don't have good experiences with trains, but it doesn't seem to be just me. I have watched a video recently called ScotRail No Ticket. Now that has made me very, very angry. I hate the video. It's basically this kid, teenager. Well, no, not teenager. He's about 18, 19. That's close enough. I mean, young adult, teenager, whatever. Pretty much the same thing. And he's on there, and he's trying to tell this conductor guy, "Hey, mate, I paid for 2 tickets, but the guy at the ticket office was obviously really stupid and printed me off 2 of the same tickets." Now he may have been trying. He may have been trying something on. He may not have. That may not have happened. But the conductor was just like, "Oh, get off, son! Come on, get off! Come on, get off!" With obviously in a Scottish accent. But I'm not going to do one of those because I'll probably offend quite a few people. But yeah, so the lad is swearing, but there's nothing wrong with swearing. I mean, come on, it's only words. What's it going to do to you? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. But then this big guy comes on and he's like, "Mate, do you want me to get him off?" And the conductor's like, "Yes," because he's basically this frail old man. And this big guy just picks the guy up pretty much by his ears and drags him down the train, pretty much flattens him on the way because he's a clumsy oaf, and lobs him off the train. And you're like, "Mate, what the hell are you doing?" And the kid tries to get back on to get his bag, and this big guy's like, "No," and pretty much crushes his head against the door. And you're like, "What the hell who do you think you are, and what are you doing?" And I've seen people commenting like, "Well, he should have called the transport police to pick him up at the next station." Yeah, he should have, but I'm going to leave it now before I get too angry. And one other experience I've had with trains, I have taken a train trip from my town, which is in northwest England, right down to Lucerne in Switzerland. Trains all the way. Train to London, London to Paris, Paris to Bern, Bern to Lucerne. And when you take that journey, I mean, the first day wasn't that bad because essentially I just went from my town to London, and that's not that bad. Stayed there overnight, and then the next day was like down to London to Paris, And if you've ever been on the Eurostar, you'll know that like when you go through the tunnels, your ears pop like all the way. You don't want to unpop them because they'll pop again, and that is the most annoying thing in the world. But yeah, there is that. And then it was like this super long journey in a French TGV, which was like 28 carriages long or something super ridiculous. It was just unbelievable, the size of the thing. I mean, we were like down the far end, so I had to walk so far. It was unbelievable. But, at least it's not a 5 carriage train with everybody standing up. We at least got a seat. And so, yeah, that's pretty much trains. That's that covered. Taking about 4 minutes on that, so that's cool. Okay, planes. That's the next one. This is going to be a fun one. Okay, so starting off on planes. I quite like planes. I quite like the idea of flying, the idea of being above it all and all that. So I can't really have too much of a go at it. The only problem is they take forever to get onto. At least they're super quick when they get going. But the amount of nonsense you have to go through to get it, it's one reason to hate terrorists, eh? They get you waiting at the airport, along with many other things, but that's one thing to hate them for. So yeah, I have taken a plane trip before. Obviously, I wouldn't be able to make these. This would all be assumptions if I haven't been on a plane before, but I have. And it was with EasyJet, if you know that company. I've heard a lot of people complain about them. I think they're alright, they're not that bad. But yeah, I took EasyJet, and it was an alright trip, I suppose. Wasn't very interesting. I mean, all I could see out the window was clouds. But just listened to my iPod and got there in no time. So that's fine. The only problem was the people sitting in front of me insisted on having their chairs put backwards. Reclined. That's the word. I was trying to remember it there. That little noise you heard, that was me clicking my fingers trying to remember. Yeah, they reclined their chairs and we were like, "Oh, what are you doing, mate? You're crushing us. Get..." What have we done wrong? Why are you torturing us by crushing us with your seat? And their excuse was the people in front of them had reclined their chairs, so they were just doing it so that they had some room. Okay, fair enough. And he went, alright, you can recline your chairs as well. Okay, well, we're not going to be douches, and we're not going to crush the people behind us. But alright, I suppose you have a decent enough reason. When we got off the plane, there was nobody sitting in front of them. Now, unless those people stood up, got a parachute, and jumped out the plane because they figured out that they weren't going to Geneva, they actually wanted to stop off in Calais. But if that didn't happen, then I don't know where those people went. I don't want to know. Maybe they got flushed, sucked in the toilet, and dropped out. That's not what happens, by the way. If you're freaking out, like you don't want to. Next time you're on a flight, you can go to the toilet. You won't get sucked in, and you won't fall out the bottom of the plane. Don't hold it, because the other passengers might not like you. Okay, so the last obvious transport, there is obviously like air balloons and all that stuff, but I'm not covering those because that's not. This is mostly public transport. Okay, boats. That's the last obvious one. Now, boats are all right for if you know geography, even the slightest bit of geography, you'll know that Britain, is an island. Not is in Ireland, is a island, and you have to go across the English Channel to get to France. That's about an hour's boat journey. Now that's an alright journey. It's quite cool. You can see like when you get to sort of midpoint, you can see England on one side and France on the other, and it's pretty cool on a clear day, obviously. But long boat journeys, I've never been on one, and I never wish to be on one unless it's a cruise. But if it's like just a transport journey, I don't ever want to be on one because I think I'd be bored rigid. I'd want to stick like 2 jets on the back of this boat, see how fast it can go. I would just. But I do quite like boats. So I can't really be too mean about them. I've never had a bad experience of sinking in one. We've pretty much got boat technology down by now, especially in Britain, because without boats we'd have been stuffed for about a few thousand years. So yeah, we've got that technology down by now. So yeah, that's pretty much it about on transport. Now, obviously, in these ranting videos, this is a very bleak outlook on things. There is obviously good things about transport. I mean, it's better than walking, but there is obviously quite a few flaws with them. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been a pretty long one, this one. I think I've put some interesting images up for you. I hope you've enjoyed those too. If you are seeing this and you haven't subscribed to me, if you could, that would be pretty cool. And I will see you again in the next ranting video, which I do not know what it shall be, but we shall find out when I get there, and I need to breathe now. That's better. Bye!